Henry VIII of England, reigned 1509 to 1547, is one of the most famous and controversial monarchs in history. His reign significantly shaped English politics, religion, and society. Below are further details about his life, his wars, and his key decisions. 1. Personal life and reign. Coronation. Henry VIII ascended to the throne in 1509 after the death of his father, Henry VII. He was only 17 years old at the time and initially seemed to represent a young, vigorous monarch who would continue his father's policies. Marriages. Henry VIII is perhaps best known for his 6 marriages, which were a major aspect of his reign. Catherine of Aragon, his first wife, whom he married in 1509. Their marriage was annulled in 1533 after she failed to provide a male heir, despite multiple pregnancies that resulted in miscarriages or the birth of daughters. Anne Boleyn, his second wife, whom he married in 1533 after breaking from the Catholic Church, and gave birth to Elizabeth, who would later become one of England's greatest monarchs. However, and was executed in 1536 on charges of adultery, treason, and incest. Jane Seymour, his third wife, who gave birth to his long-desired male heir, Edward VI, in 1537. She died shortly after childbirth. Anne of Cleves, his fourth wife, whom he had an annulled marriage with after only 6 months, as he found her unattractive. Catherine Howard, his fifth wife, whom he married in 1540. She was executed in 1542 for committing adultery. Catherine Parr, his sixth and final wife, who outlived him and helped to reconcile Henry with his children from previous marriages. 2. Wars and military campaigns. Henry VIII's reign was marked by various military conflicts, both on the European stage and at home. War with France, 1512 to 1514 and 1512. Henry VIII allied with Spain and other European powers to launch a military campaign against France. The most notable battle during this period was the Battle of the Spurs, 1513, where Henry's forces achieved a victory. However, England did not gain lasting control over French territory. Invasion of France, 1513. Henry personally led an army into France in 1513, capturing several towns, including Tournai. However, the campaign was expensive, and England ultimately had to return many of its territorial gains in exchange for peace. The Battle of the Solway Moss, 1542 and 1542, Henry fought against Scotland, defeating the Scots at the Battle of Solway Moss. This victory led to the capture of many Scottish soldiers and further weakened the Scottish monarchy, which was under the rule of the infant Mary, Queen of Scots. Rivalry with Spain and the Holy Roman Empire. Although initially allied with Spain through his marriage to Catherine of Aragon, Henry split from the Catholic Church, and the break with Rome led to deteriorating relations with Spain and the Holy Roman Empire, particularly under Emperor Charles V. The 100 Years' War legacy. Although the 100 Years' War technically ended in 1453, its legacy continued to shape Anglo-French relations. Henry VIII sought to assert English claims in France, but was unable to sustain long-term success in this area. 3. Religious Reformation. One of Henry VIII's most significant acts was the creation of the Church of England, which fundamentally altered the religious landscape of England and Europe. The break from Rome. In 1533, Henry sought to annul his marriage to Catherine of Aragon, but the Pope refused to grant this request. In response, Henry broke from the Roman Catholic Church and established the Church of England, with himself as its supreme head. The English Reformation. Henry's religious reforms led to the dissolution of monasteries between 1536 and 1541, which resulted in the destruction of Catholic institutions across England and the redistribution of church wealth to the crown. The Six Articles. In 1539, Henry passed the Six Articles, which reaffirmed Catholic doctrine on issues such as transubstantiation, the belief that bread and wine become the body and blood of Christ, and celibacy for clergy, despite his break with Rome. 4. Political and social impacts. The rise of the Tudor dynasty. Henry VIII's decisions ensured the continued power of the Tudor dynasty, as his male heir, Edward VI, ascended to the throne after his death. The strengthening of the monarchy. Henry expanded the powers of the monarchy, diminishing the influence of the nobility and establishing a more centralized state. Economic strain. Wars. The dissolution of monasteries and lavish spending on palaces and court festivities put a significant strain on England's economy. However, Henry also improved the navy and created a more powerful military force. 5. The final years. By the 1540s, Henry VIII's health had deteriorated. He became increasingly obese and suffered from painful leg ulcers and other illnesses. He was known for his temper and erratic behavior during his later years. His final years were marked by weakening health. Henry had a significant weight problem and had become incapable of leading military campaigns or making swift decisions due to his poor health. Religious instability. In his last years, the religious reforms he had started became more entrenched, but his successors would later struggle to stabilize the religious situation in England. Death. Henry VIII died in 1547 at the age of 55. He was succeeded by his son, Edward VI, but Henry's death also marked the end of an era of significant religious and political change in England. 6. Legacy. Henry VIII's reign left a profound legacy. His establishment of the Church of England paved the way for the Protestant Reformation in England, and his political maneuvers helped establish a strong monarchy. However, his reign also led to a period of religious conflict and political upheaval. His reign is remembered for its complexity, filled with personal drama, religious turmoil, and significant transformations in English governance.